Does that mean if you figure out the design, you can cheat death?
There are no accidents and no escapes.
It's simply Craig on the
To the hangout, welcome to the hangout. To the hangout, welcome to the hangout. To the hangout, welcome to the hangout. To the hangout, welcome to the hangout.
Hey!
Chill.
You already know when y'all hear that sound. Y'all know what time it is, shout it. You know what it is.
What time is it, big dog?
It is time for another session, another episode of the Hangout Experience.
Welcome back, Hangerz. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back home. You know what I mean? That's how we want you to feel. Like I've come back home. Yes, you have. So have a seat. Kick your feet up if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you took your shoes
Leave your
off
shoes at the door.
That's right. You see how we both want it. We know what it is, y'all. All right. But if you're just tuning in, you don't know, like, who are these guys rambling, talking, all this stuff here? Let me help you out. It is that PRICE, and who's on this review with me?
Yowie wowie, ladies and germs. It's your boy X, the unannounced, a.k.a. your flight attendant for your final destination. See what I did there?
I was trying to think how you gonna do it. I'm like, I know you're gonna do something.
I tried to. I was thinking it took me all of 10 minutes, but 10 minutes well spent.
Good though, because I was thinking like, are you ready for your final destination? You know what I mean? Yours is much better. I like that. And he's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's right. We are here to discuss Final Destination, Bloodlines. Oh, and I'm pretty sure y'all want to know, what Bloodlines? What is that? Why is it that? None of the other ones have been called Final Destination ... this, right? Nothing. Why is this one so different? Well, you get to find out how that's so different. But of course, before we can do that, before we do anything, y'all know how this goes. You know how we flow. We absolutely have to kick it off with a little of that beautiful beam footage that only the unannounced X can give you. My man, break us off a little something.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Final Destination, Bloodlines.
Something's got a hold on me here. I must be the
Drinks all around.
say it, oh. Something's got a hold on me here.
Family, you don't get to pick the one you get. Just gotta love the one you got.
I always knew this day would come.
I got it.
I don't think you got it.
I held him off for years.
Charlie, get up here.
He's a relentless son of a bitch. Won't stop till he finishes the job. Death is coming for our family.
I said, oh, 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 oh.
Grandma, what's happening to us?
Years ago, I had a premonition that started it all. I saw what death was about to do. I saved a lot of lives that night.
Everyone needs to get off the dance floor!
Lives that were never meant to be saved. But death doesn't like it when you mess with his plans. This book, it will show you everything you need to know to keep our family safe.
It all started with Grandma. Death is coming for us because we were never supposed to exist. Watch out!
Only by embracing death will it pass you by.
Maybe death's not actually coming for our family. Because that would be crazy.
Good luck.
Oh, it must be love.
You know you make me wanna
Shout,
kick my feet up and
shout.
throw my hands up and
Come on now. Come on now.
oh man.
Good stuff. It's good stuff, brother. It's good
you
stuff,
know,
my brother.
the trailer itself is entertaining. All right, so let's just get that out the way. The trailer itself is entertaining. It absolutely will make you, if you are a fan of the series, the trailer will make you like, I think I might want to go see that. You know, that was good, man. But you know what? I wonder if you caught it. Did you catch the fake out, man?
Oh man, you know, we tell y'all here on the show that sometimes when you watch these trailers, they throw some stuff at you that ain't necessarily on the movie. They throw you off on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the clips in the trailer be a little bit better than what you see in the movie sometimes.
I appreciate that they didn't need to show us everything. They can leave something to, to the imagination. And I will say that, yeah, it was a true shock when I saw those deaths. You know what I mean? It was shocking. I didn't I knew this was coming. No.
Yeah, they saved it for the movie, which you supposed to save the meat and potatoes for the main dish. You know what I'm saying? They call them appetizers for a reason. That's what trailers are. Trailers are appetizers. So you're not supposed to spoil the whole meal, or give them everything on the appetizer.
Yeah, man. And they did a great job with that. So that's the first compliment I will say for seeing that trailer and then seeing the movie. Yeah, you're not going to expect what you're seeing, what you have coming. Now, one interesting aspect, of course, is this city sky view thing, whatever. But then of course we will get into it. But from the trailer, believe me, some of these things are very very misleading. So good job on editing the trailer. Now, before we jump into this, of course, we got to give you a synopsis. I mean, if you couldn't figure everything out from the trailer and you have not really been into this lore of Final Destination, we're going to go ahead and break it down, the synopsis of this particular movie. Plagued by a violent and recurring nightmare, a college student heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle of death and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, short, simple, to the point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Now I'm going to butcher this name. That is the director, of course. I already know it. But
give it your best shot, brother. Give it your best shot.
I'm gonna try. This is directed by Zach Lipovsky. Lipovsky. Sorry, brother. If you happen to hear this podcast, like, man, my name is not Lipovsky.
It's nothing personal, brother. I promise you.
At all. And Adam Stein. So we have two directors on this. That's cool. I'm going to imagine these are two fans of the series, because from what I saw, that had to be made by a fan of this series, without a doubt. Okay, so I want to start this off with this first, man, because we got to give credit where credit is due. All right, for y'all know him as Tony Todd, but his complete government name is Anthony Tyran Todd. Okay, and he was born December 4th, 1954. He passed in November 6, 2024. His cause of death has been listed as stomach cancer. Known for his distinctly deep and gravelly voice, he is best known for playing the title character in the Candyman series, and William Bloodworth in the Final Destination franchise. For the former, he was nominated at the Critics' Choice and Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. We got to give it up to Tony
brother.
Todd. Yeah, for sure. You know, he definitely did his thing, and like they said, he had that distinctive voice, that distinctive look. And I know some of you saw him on the trailer, and you know, you're wondering like, oh, what's, you know, this, that, and other, what's his part of this? All I can tell you is they really honored this man. They gave him his swan song, I would say. And if you have to, you know, have a lasting memory, it should be on something like this. Definitely. I was really happy with the way they did with, you know, Tony Todd in this.
Great
It wasn't
use of
cheesy.
him, and you know,
Yes.
like you said, a great send off.
Great send off. If you see him on the trailers, yes, he looks a little different. Yes, he, you know, lost a lot of weight. That's obvious. And you can kind of tell, you know, you kind of feel it like, yeah, I don't know how much longer he's gonna, you know, be around, but I'm happy to see him. And I will say, in our theater, people clapped and they cheered when they saw him.
Absolutely.
And these were not like just black people. You feel what I'm saying? So that right there, I'm like, yes, give this man his flowers, give him his props. So that was a beautiful thing to see. Very
Boy, he put the franchise on his back like a star player. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he did.
To see him really go out on that swan song, brother, like you said, ultimate respect.
Yep. And so I want to start off with him because, of course, y'all know how we do. We got to go through the cast. But Tony Todd plays William Bloodworth, as I said. Next, we have Brett Basinger, or Basinger. She's playing young Iris Campbell. Our protagonist, Caitlin Santa Wana, playing Stephanie Lewis.
Yep.
For all you Jackie Brown fans, y'all know what happens when you say Lewis. And then we play. We go into Gabrielle Rose playing old Iris, and she definitely played her part. Let me tell you now.
Absolutely, to the T.
Boy. And then of course another standout performance was Richard Harmon playing Eric Campbell. You know, he definitely did his thing.
That brother shined, man. That brother shined. I tell
He
you
was
what.
entertaining. Yeah. So a lot of colorful characters. I don't think we need to go through all of them, but colorful characters for sure. And what I can say so far is the only person, as they said, recurring is Tony Todd. This is a new crop of people. You know, I even thought myself like, oh, they're gonna have Devon or Davon Sawyer. I mispronounced his name, but are they gonna have him in it from the first one, and so forth and so on. So I was not disappointed that he wasn't, but there was some questions that was answered, and I think that the best person to kind of get us to this point of where we are would be my man X, because X, you've seen all of them.
What?
You know, you've seen all of them.
No, absolutely though. Yeah, I kind of went through a little bit of preparation, you know what I'm saying, and just to kind of refresh the brain, you know, but it's been a little bit of time, you know. The 5th installment came out in 2011, as you guys know, and then this one is 2025, so a little bit of time in between, you know what I'm saying?
14 years, yeah.
Where we last, you know what I'm saying? Something slight, nothing crazy, you know, 14 years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, just 14.
where we last left the franchise, they were in a space where they tied it together in a sense of, you know, we go through the film like the other setups, you know, protagonists having the visions, going through it, and you think the day is saved and everything is great. I want to let y'all know right now, there's no such thing as happy ending in the Final Destination series. But how it ends is we realize that towards the end of the movie, the plane that they get on to go to Paris is the exact same 180 flight from the first movie, and it's actually dated for 2000. That's how the 5th one concludes. It's like, oh, so y'all went on the original flight of 180, and y'all at that point were thinking about this franchise like, oh, so this is how it all started. This was the magnum opus right here. This is where we just we went from 2000 and we tied it all the way around. Put a little pretty bow
That's
on
awesome.
it. Called it a day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why this one, don't expect to see any more reoccurring characters other than our man Tony Todd.
And that's all we need, you know, truth be told, that's all we need. And that's good because, you know, I mean, yes, it's cool to see other people, but come on.
I will also note too that you don't see anyone, but there's references to one of the main leads that quote unquote, you know, happens to go through what she went through in one of the films, but you don't see her. It's a reference because, you know, the franchise is going to reference its predecessors. So that's about as close as y'all going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. That it's actually cool how they did it. You know, there are a lot of Easter eggs, and we're definitely gonna get into that. Because you know, one thing in particular, the way they did it was just so classy and so cool, and I feel like they didn't hold your hand with it. If you knew, you knew. If you were a fan, this was strictly a love letter to the fans. That's what I want to make sure we are clear on this. It literally looked like a love letter. That's why I was like, hey, whoever these directors are, they're definitely fanboys.
Absolutely.
And so, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this.
It's time, brother.
Okay, as each movie has been set up the way X told you, you know, there's a protagonist, they see visions, this happens, and they go through the movie trying to stop it. And that's the premise, you know what I mean? Like, that's not spoiling anything for you, because y'all know how we do. We're not going to spoil it for you. But we will tell you, okay, there are certain tropes, there are certain things that happen in each series. And that's basically where we are.
Different.
And it's no different. And basically where we are is, you know, it's just a different protagonist. It's a different environment, however, scenery, whatever, but it's the same thing. Now, what I will say for the first time that I've seen with this is them basically starting off with someone else's vision that ends up being someone else's nightmare. Already I was like, that's different. I like that. You know, I like them taking it in that direction, but still keeping it.
How do we make it different? You know?
Yeah.
How do we
keeping it grounded?
Fresh twist on it since it's been so long.
Since it's been so long. And now, you know, keep in mind, you have different generations. So different generations need different things. You know what I mean? Like, they're not impressed by some of the stuff that we had back in the day. They're just like, what? No, give me some more. And I felt like they gave some more and they made it make sense. And I was cool with it. And you know what? Another thing too, there was technology in it. There was technology in it. There's smartphones, whatever, but they weren't relying on that for the story. It still was a basic story of humans against death, right? And that's what we were. And that made it feel like a Final Destination movie. Let's get this on out the way, man. There are some people who didn't make it through all the movies because after a while they're like, okay, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be the same thing again. It's going to be different people. You're just reskinning a movie, right? And it's like Saw. After a while, you're like, okay, I'm going to watch them just because, you know what I mean? I'm a fan of the first one and whatever, but you're kind of tired of them because you know what's coming. It turns into torture and death porn. Torture porn for Saw, death porn for Final Destination. And, you know, some people just don't need to have all that after a while. Now, this is going to lead to the fact that when we came out of this movie, you asked me a particular question, and I said, man, that is a really good question. And I want you to ask that question again because it ties totally into what I want to say next. Do you remember what that question was, X?
I believe it came along the lines of, did we need this film?
Yep, that's exactly what it was. And I thought about that all the way home. Did we really need this film?
Did we really need Final Destination Bloodlines in 2025?
14 years later. And from what you just said, they capped it off pretty well. I mean, they tied it all the way back to the first one. I mean, that's genius. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of however the movie got scored and whatever, the idea of tying it all back to the first one, that was genius. And you didn't even know it was a prequel until you got to the end. That's awesome.
That part.
So it's wrapped up. Like you said, pretty little bow. What do we need another one for? And do we actually need another one? Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think in this climate that we're in right now, with everything's going on, I think with all the tension flying, just with everything, the uncertainties, all of this stuff here that has people worried and so forth and so on, having a movie that you can go to and just have some mindless fun, because it is, in a sense, it's mindless fun, but that doesn't always mean a bad thing. This totally takes your mind off of whatever you're going through at the moment. And let me tell you, the fun part about this is that this movie becomes interactive. And you're like, interactive? What do you mean? How do you interact with this movie? How do you all... Let me tell you how it all tied us all together. Everybody that was in that theater, let me explain to you how it tied us all together at the end. As we were walking out, as we were just minding our business, going to the parking lot, as Timmy, X, and I were in the parking lot just having conversations, people walking by and they're like, hey, you make sure you be careful going home. You know what I'm saying? Hey, watch out for that. Watch out for death. Everybody was in that mode of, man, I mean, watch out, man. I mean, for every little sign and everything, everybody was saying it. Everybody was talking about it. That's the impact that movie had on this audience. And it was beautiful. Even though we were like, all right, watch out for death. We all know, that's not going to happen, right? But it was fun talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
did we know that? Did we know that price? I mean,
did we know what?
One of us in that parking lot could have had a premonition.
Oh, I mean, hey,
you know what I'm saying? You just never know.
If you wanna take it that far, but I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna go in here, say my prayers, and when I say my prayer, I'm getting home safe, baby. I don't know about y'all, but I know who is getting home safe.
I'm gonna say a quick one. I might even talk to the Lord while I'm on my way home.
Absolutely. You know, like, God, what you think about that movie? But yeah, no, man. But it was fun, man. It was fun, and I was like, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. And it's not many movies that will do that to you. Some will make you stop and talk about it, sure, but not many of them will have you like, hey guy, watch out now. You know what I'm saying? Watch out now. Yeah, man. So that was really cool. And so to answer your question, I do think we needed this movie. I just think that we didn't know we needed this movie. You know what I mean? Not until you watch it. And when you watch it, you're like, I haven't felt this in a while. You know what I mean? That was the fun part about watching Final Destination, was because, you know, the devs got creative. You know, you want to see how they was going to top, you know, each one. And it always some kind of weird way made you have a fondness of the first one and make you say, whether you thought this one was good or not, it made you have a fondness of the first one to say, man, I'm gonna go back and watch the first one.
Even to the point where some people in the theater, you know, I was looking around and, you know, they had to tense up a little bit. They kind of, ooh, Lord, you know what I'm saying? Got a look like they got a little queasy. There's some of these little death scenes, you know what I'm saying?
And you know, rightfully so, because, and we're going to get into this, man, because, you know, we don't have to tell them blow by blow everything that happened. We just need to let them know what this is. Let me tell y'all something. It's not easy making this stuff look believable, because the more and more you watch and the more you know about movie making magic, you know things are prosthetic, and you know things are really dummies, and they'll cut away from something, and that's not really the person, that's a stunt man, or we know all these things. So the smarter your audience gets, the more creative you have to get.
Absolutely. Let
me tell you, there is one particular scene that they did involving a garbage truck. I can't tell you how they were able to pull off that seamless scene, but let me tell you, they pulled it off magnificently. Like, I'm looking for the wires. Okay, I'm looking for the line in the screen. I saw nothing. I just saw a very fluid scene that was like, oh my God, wow. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to clap and say, congratulations, very good.
That was a good one. I won't lie to you. That one caught me by surprise too, because you're thinking, like you said, and I look back on the franchise too. It's some of them too where it's like, how did y'all pull that off? It looks flawless. That one in particular was one of those.
Absolutely. You knew it was coming, but you just didn't know how they was going to pull it off. And the way they did, they could have gone through, bro. They could have gone any other way with that. They did not have to show what they showed. They could have gone with any other thing, and you would have known. Oh well, yeah, that person got it right, but they didn't.
Absolutely.
And they showed you. They was like, let me show you. They like, hold my death. Let me show you how to do this, son.
Let me show y'all something if y'all ain't never seen it.
Man. So that right there was like, whoa, I was highly impressed. So yeah, people, trust me. What we'll say right now is, if you are a fan of this series, I can't tell you right now whether you're going to like it or not, but what I can say is that you're definitely going to want to see it if you are a fan of the series. Now, if you're just a person who is, casual movie goer and you're wondering, you clicked on this episode just to say, hey man, should I go see this thing or not? If you want to see a entertaining movie, yes, you do. And we still haven't gotten to whether it's good or not. But if you want to see an entertaining movie, yes, you do. We're back to our protagonist. And this is Stephanie Lewis. Stephanie Lewis is that college student. And as we start off, just as we see in the trailers, Iris has a premonition. And I want to tell you something, man. This, I'm going to get into kind of what is, might have been a problem. There were some inaccuracies. Okay. There were some inaccuracies that I wasn't feeling.
Right,
we discussed it.
It's time to get it off your chest, brother.
Oh, I'm absolutely going to do it. There were some inaccuracies. Okay. And the inaccuracy started in the very beginning. And it has to do with history and how things actually were for certain people. Okay. That weren't, Caucasian, let's say that. And I thought about this. I'm telling you, man, I thought about this just going home. I see why they try to do it. I see the climate that we're in, and I see them trying to not incite certain things, right? If you show certain images or so, whatever that may trigger some people's memories or trauma or however. So let's show something different, and let's show a little more harmony and so forth and so on before we include all this chaos. I commend them on trying to do that, bro. But it is super weird if you know for a fact that did not happen that way and would not happen that way because of historical, you know what I'm saying? Historical facts. And so to change that, it kind of took me out of the movie because it almost made me think of like, oh, well, where's this utopia at? You know what I mean? That they say was going on in 1960 or whatever, where we were all harmonious and singing Kumbaya together. Where was this at? Is this an alternate universe? Because this is not the place that I know. You know what I'm saying? The things that I know happened. And so when I thought about that, bro, it took me out of it because it made me realize, okay, if younger people who don't really know the history come see this and they think, oh, that's how it was. Well, now you're misleading them. And now you're also kind of taking away from people who actually did some very magnificent things, you know what I'm saying? Even die behind certain causes, right? So I'm like,
absolutely.
I didn't like that for that reason, because now you're kind of erasing history while you're trying to, give someone another perspective or whatever. So for that right there, bro, took me out of it.
And for whether you want to open your eyes to it or not, that's exactly what's going on outside of this review, outside in the outside world. History is being erased in front of our faces and trying to be rewritten and or not spoken of at all as if it never happened. So for a leading film to kind of hit you that way, that's why I felt it was very important to give you this floor to let you say that. It should be said.
Yeah. And you know me, man, I'm not an angry black man, you know what I'm saying? That's not me. That's not my flow. If you've listened to this podcast, that's not my flow. However, okay, when I see something like that, it does bother me because there are a lot of people who, lost lives and gave their life up to make sure that I right now can sit here and talk about this on a podcast. You see what I'm saying? So for them to do what they did, and we're not going to tell y'all, but you'll see it. But for them to do what they did, the way they did it, I didn't like that. Even though I'm commending them on the effort of trying to bring people together and visually give them something else. Listen, directors, I wish it was like that. You know what I mean? Because that's how it should have been. It literally should have been that way. I wish it would have been that way. Thank you for your effort. However, you know what I mean? It's a little misguided. You know what I mean? So for that part right there, I was like, that's what took me out of it originally. And then once I got past that and realized, okay, this is what we're doing, then I got back into the movie and I was able to enjoy it again. So I just want to say, for people who, for history is important to you and you know how things went and go or whatever, that part right there will be your first like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then after you get over that, you'll be fine. Because I was fine after that. I didn't hold a grudge. I was just like, okay. So, but this is all again in the very first part of the movie. It's in the first 10 minutes of the movie. It happens. You don't think about it again. Then you kind of move on from it. And now you're just sitting here able to enjoy watching Iris, young Iris, have a premonition, basically. Just as you see in the trailers, everything, things were happening, chaos ensued. And what we did see, and I will say that me and Timmy did call this, and I started to reach over to you to see if you peeped it too, but I figured you did. We noticed a young character that ended up becoming a character in this series, and we was like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? Watching them do that and watching an origin story happen right before our eyes, and it all makes sense. Like, wow, that's why he was always here. You know what I mean? That's why he was always here. And so that was cool, man. Just watching that unfold. And then of course, like we know, watching Iris do her thing, right? And then boom, we wake up and we're now introduced to Stephanie. So like we said, man, very innovative, you know what I mean? The way they flipped it. And now you're riding along with Caitlin. And Caitlin, of course, is, not knowing what's going on, you know what I mean? But she knows something is wrong and she need to find out. I mean, we already see that she's literally having nightmares in class. Her roommate is like, hey, you need to go. I don't know what is going on.
I'm gonna need you to figure this out.
For real. I can't sleep, shawty.
Literally, like, no shade, but I'm gonna need you to figure this out because I'm tired, and if you don't figure this out, it's gonna get handled. It's basically how her roommate talked to us. So, and it's been like, this has been a reoccurring thing for months. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the stress. I do. I get it. She literally said, figure it out or it's gonna figure you out.
For real. And so she does that. She makes that attempt to go home and, hey, man, what's going on? Who's this person? And, why am I dreaming about this person? And so forth and so on. And let's ask the question. How would you feel if somebody was telling you, hey, Jeff is going to get you? And, that's almost like scary when you tell that kid, like, hey, you living in the last days now, you know what I'm saying? You get to count, well, how many I got? You know what I'm saying? Well, how much fun can I have before? So that, might have you walking on eggshells. Like, I don't know if I wouldn't even come out the house, but, you got to imagine, man, that would probably turn some people off. If someone constantly telling you, hey, you're going to die and you better watch out for death because it's going to die, you're going to die, You're like, well, just let me die. So I don't want to know. Just let me die. Let it be a surprise. You know what I mean? Good grief. But no, man, that's basically what we find out about Iris. And, from you can see from the trailers, she looks a little unkept. And I guess when you're basically living in your house, you know what I'm saying? Your compound, because you're scared to come out, because you're scared of what death may do, you might not worry about combing your hair so much. You know what I'm saying? Makeup might not be an important thing for you. You might be scared to put makeup on. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna stab myself in the eye with the, you know what I'm saying? With the pencil, But yeah. But I feel bad for it, man. That's what the thing about it was, because that's your reward, right? They say, no good deeds, right? No good deeds, huh? This woman saved a bunch of lives. Yeah. And this is what she basically had to do for the rest of her life. You know what I mean? Is basically be on the run from death. because as we've known from all the other ones, Death does not give up. He's like, hey, we had plans. And said, you messed my plans up, bro.
And we are definitely not changing. We are not changing said plans either. You know what I'm saying? I had already laid it out. I got your nice fresh outfit for you and everything. So ain't no way we gonna move past this. I already had plans, dinner reservation and everything. Dog. You just think you just gonna come in, change the game? Nah, you can't come in here and try to change the game. I don't get.
That was a nice fresh outfit. Yeah, no, man, that's it. Right. That was like, I got stuff to do. You know what I mean? I got a 3 o'clock and you are encroaching on my time.
You making me run late.
You know what I'm saying? So, but no, man, basically that's what we find out. You know what I mean? She's going through it. And, you know, but fortunately, you know, she's able to talk to Stephanie and basically give Stephanie some game. And which was probably one of my favorite parts, bro, of this whole movie. The book. Oh, X. Come on, man. The book, yo. I'm sitting here like, this is a love letter to these movies, man, as they're flipping these pages, bro. And you caught even more than I caught. But man, just seeing the plane, bro. You know, seeing the truck with the lumber on it, just seeing the things that I remember from this series. Oh, I just thought it was beautiful, man. I thought it was beautiful. I truly, you know what, to be honest with you, I feel like, man, why can't y'all just give us the book? Let us look through the book. I want to look through the book myself. You know what I mean? So I can just go through it it looked like a photo album or something. You know what I mean? You know, a crazy photo album. You know, it was kind of half Seven, you know, the movie Seven with that book, and half a photo album. You know what I mean? So, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I was very impressed with that. But the book is definitely a guide for Stephanie. And you find there's a lot of things being revealed in this movie. And I mean, there's even like some Maury Povich moments in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a good way to put it. That's a great way to put it, brother. Absolutely.
You are not so.
Well, I mean, yeah. He not, then who is?
Who is, right? You know, which I will say, that's one thing I would have liked to have seen that. I really would have liked to have seen that. You know what I mean? I thought that would have gone over better with the joke, but whatever. Yeah, man. And so a lot of things revealed, and I was like, okay, cool. This is a cool movie because you're getting other things revealed, but you're getting these side things revealed too, right? And you're like, oh, whoa, okay. So I thought they did very well with that, man. The cast of characters were colorful. They were the right type. They were the right type of a-hole. You know what I'm saying? So if it was an a-hole, you kind of want something to happen to them, right? Shout out to the little boy in Skyview, by the way. We won't spoil it, but shout out to the little boy in Skyview, man. He played his part. So you get the characters that, you know, slight a-holes, right? So you're like, he need to get it, and so forth and so on. But they were entertaining though. You know what I mean? Like, they were the ones you love to hate. And I would say probably only just the daughter, the blonde, which, by the way, bro, I will say too, based on that Maury Povich, that kind of should have let you know, right? When you saw the different hair colors, and I'm like, duh, that makes perfect sense because the brother and sister look just like, whatever. So, but yes, you know, she, I will say she didn't really do it for me, but I didn't hate her though. You feel what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I shouldn't have had her in the movie. She just didn't do anything that stood out to me that made me like, oh man. But a lot of other ones did, you know, especially Eric Campbell. You know what I mean? He crushed his part, bro. He just crushed it. I was like, good job.
Yeah, that boy knew how to rock that. He rocked his platform. I ain't gonna hold you, brother. He was outstanding in the film. You know what I'm saying? Quick with the timing and everything. I ain't gonna lie. The humor in this one, you know, we talk about jokes and stuff. They was landing. I'm not gonna hold
They were
you.
landing. Good point. Good point. Yeah, good point, man. Thank you. The laughs were genuine. They didn't force us to it. Some of them were like, I laughed and I didn't hear other people laugh. And I was like, oh, y'all didn't get that? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like, okay, well, that was funny. But plenty of that landed. Some that was sneaky. Some people just didn't get it. But hey, I just feel like they wasn't up on it. So yeah, bro, you're right, man. A nice blend, nice mix. It wasn't just death. It wasn't death porn.
No, we got some lighthearted. Like, we got some lighthearted scenes. We got some joke scenes. You know, they tried to balance it out as far as, you know, how much they didn't. I feel like they didn't overkill you either, though. Everything kind of had a balance to it. They had a point to it, and they were really just trying to, you know, again, show their fandom. You know what I'm saying? Pay homage in a way that didn't feel like it was overbearing.
Exactly. And it wasn't. Not at one point did I feel like this was convoluted. This was just, they just threw a bunch of stuff together, and you know, the editing is crap, and the pacing is horrible. Nope. I was with it the whole way. I never at one point in time felt like, oh God, what is this ending? Nothing. I tell you, to be honest with you, our worst experience was actually trying to get into the daggone screening. You know what I'm saying? That was the worst part about the movie, trying to get into the screening.
Man, child, that was its own separate battle in itself, man.
For real. They almost saw the Final Destination. kept playing with us. But yeah, man. So no, man, but very well directed. I like the journey that I went on with Stephanie. She was very believable, acted very well, you know, acted very, very, very well. And just other little subject matters that they brought into it. You know what I mean? When it comes to family and forgiveness and, you know what I mean? Like understanding, basically, because I really do feel like there were certain characters in there, I won't spoil it, that were misunderstood as for why they had to do what they did based on their upbringing and what they did, you know, the trauma that they endured as a child, and with the notion to not pass that on to their child. You're right. You know, like their logic is understandable, just not acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely. Like, I get why you did it, but you shouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? You should trust in your family.
Was it the right call to make? Did you need to do it?
Exactly. Did you need to do it? And so for those emotional beats that they have in there, I thought all of that was good, because it will make you think about a family member that maybe you haven't talked to or whatever, right? Or you just misunderstanding that person. However, so for that's what I'm saying. There were certain things that they touched on that was just like, oh, this is not just I'm gonna watch somebody die. No, it wasn't. That was not it. And that's what I was concerned with. Oh, this is a cash grab. They're just going to go ahead and just squeeze all the little juice out of their can of the Final Destination thing, take our money and laugh in our faces. No.
I will absolutely tell you, I'm not going to lie. That is kind of how I felt coming into it. I didn't want that to be my dominating thought. I just wanted to clear mind and just say, let's take this in for what it is. But I won't lie to you and tell you that wasn't a thought that crossed my mind, brother. I was like 14 years. I feel like you're only bringing it up now for possibly the cash grab other aspect of that. But like you said, it was one of those where it's like you didn't know you needed it until you needed it.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that they were able to kind of put their stamp on it, you know what I'm saying, and really add to a good franchise.
That's right. And man, well said, because yes, this is an addition to an already well-established franchise. And this right here just put the cherry on top. It put the cherry on top. And again, that's not to say whether it's good or bad. That's just to say, is it necessary? Let's go back to X's question. Was this necessary? I believe it was. And when you guys go and see it, please in the comments, just let us know. Let us know what you thought. And while you're leaving that in the comment, please don't forget to like. Subscribe. And you better turn your notifications on.
If not, death gonna follow you too.
Ooh, you heard that?
Ooh.
So on that note right there, we're gonna go ahead and go into this review. X, I'm gonna let you start this one off, brother. I'm really curious to know what you're gonna say on this one, man. I've been starting off. Let's let you.
All right, brother. Listen, I'm gonna
Spearhead
just
this one.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, brother. In this film, man, like I said, my mindset going into it was that, I'm watching a bona fide cash grab, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever this is, let's just take it for what it is, all right? Now, you think of the word bloodline, what do you think of? You think of family. So I love the branding of it. I love how on theme it was. I love, and again, we don't spoil things here, people. So this is stuff that's in the trailers that we're talking about right now. So going off of the trailers, I enjoyed not only the comedic timing of the movie, I enjoyed the creativity of the movie, the free flow of the film. It really felt like it was part at home. The perfectly said part that you said was, it felt like an addition to a well-established franchise. And it did. It felt like I'm watching, another great addition in this series of good movies. So, I've been trying to wrestle with what to say about the movie. And, the words have been there all along. This is just a really good watch. And I want to come from the perspective, too, of maybe you're new to the franchise. Maybe this is your first one. I feel like, you hear people talk about it, you hear the references and all that. If this is the first one that you've actually watched from beginning to end, or you're like, should I think you should. As a casual moviegoer, you'll sit back, you'll enjoy a story, you'll enjoy a good movie, you'll enjoy good visuals, a laugh. It has everything in it. A family component, a warm aspect to it. And, you can't beat that, in my opinion. At all. So, my favorite part about this is always telling y'all where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And being transparent with y'all, Hangerz. Because, for a movie that you got nothing but positive things to say about, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you want to look at it and you want to say, well, if it checks this box, and this box, well, do you have any gripes? What's your, it can't just be all good, this, that, and the third. And I would probably say, for me personally, the historical piece at the beginning, I would say I would ding a little bit for that. There's a little bit of a small nuance there that's kind of like, all right, well, you're kind of dragging it a little bit, I felt a little bit of drag when it came to certain scenes and trying to set up to get to the point of, continuation or what you were trying to say. And maybe that's because you got to come from the perspective of this is a new audience too. So, maybe you got to kind of slow walk the dog for some people. So maybe I personally, because I'm a fan of the franchise, will ding a little bit for that. But I think overall, it doesn't miss. You know what I'm saying? I think there's some, might be a little recency bias, obviously, but I think there might be some small areas that could have been improved on, or could have been, taken out here, replaced there with something else or something like that could have made it, made it hit a little bit better. But as far as ratings go, you know what I'm saying, I think my heart lies with a 9.5, brother. I think my heart lies with a 9.5. You know what I'm saying? Strong movie.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, you just gonna drop the mic on that one, huh? Okay. And that's all that need to be said. He said, I said what I said.
And that's all. I said what I said, dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's any more that needs to be said.
No, apparently not.
Leave it there.
He dropped the mic. He dropped the mic, walked off stage, sexual chocolate. So like, boy, I see you, man. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, we were able to watch this on an IMAX screen. Biggest screen, right? I mean, good Lord. And we were way back there now. We were back there, but you didn't feel like it, you know? And if you can watch this on an IMAX screen, because I can't tell you what it looks like on something else. If you can watch it on an IMAX screen, please see it on IMAX screen. You know, the audio is on point. We right there by the speakers. I mean, you feel every hit, everything. It was great. It was an amazing experience. Now, I don't want to say that, oh my God, this, you know, my score is based on this IMAX screen. I'm just saying that I feel like it does help if you can watch it on an IMAX screen. Now, if you can't, either way, my review is the same. Okay, so just wanted that little disclaimer. We did watch it on IMAX. Okay, here's the deal for me. Yes, thank you for bringing up the historical, you know, a little hoopla, I would say, you know what I mean, in the beginning. And take it how you want. Like I said, I'm trying to give you both perspectives. I do understand what they were trying to do, if that's what they were trying to do. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me. You know, try to create this harmonious visual of people just being together. And absolutely, thank you guys. I do wish it was that way. It was not that way. But nice try. And maybe that will be good for some people coming up or something. I don't know, man. Who am I to say? I can only say how it made me feel at that time. And I know that I'm not the angry black guy. So I'm just curious as to how it's going to make some other people feel if they pick up on, that's not quite accurate. Now, I've already said what I said about that, so don't need to beat a dead horse. No pun intended. I know this Final Destination. But and I'm getting straight to my gripes. I've already kind of, you know, said some very positive things about this film, but I'm gonna get to my gripes real quick because I need to just get them out the way. This is one of them things where it's like, I don't want to do this, but we have to. We got to be honest with you. There are some things that goes on also in this movie that to me did not feel real. And X, I will tell you right now that this part is dealing with the father and how a father would act toward his daughter, his loving daughter, the daughter he loves, his kids, not just his daughter, but his kids, because there's, you know, she has a brother. I forgot to mention that earlier, but Stephanie does have a brother. And like X said, this is Bloodlines, right? And because it's called Final Destination Bloodlines, this is the first time that I have really seen them hone in on a family. Like everything is usually these random strangers who have all this random stuff going on. And now these people, they come together and they kind of create a family-like environment because they're all watching out for each other, but they're not really related. So this, for me, is my first experience watching death basically tear through a family, you know, and that part right there was just automatically awesome. However, when it came to the father and his reactions, his actions, okay, for what he would do if that was you, if you was a father and this thing, your daughter and son was going through these things, how would you react? His actions weren't really believable to me. So for that part, it was just like, those are the two most unbelievable things in that movie to me, because I just feel like unless this is just the worst father of the year, I'm like, yeah, I ain't feeling that, dog. That doesn't seem right. I get that we're trying to, Death has a certain plan and he doesn't usually falter from that plan unless, as she said in the trailer, you mess with Death, you get in his way. Now, if you get in his way, oh, okay, fine. You want some too? You want some of this too, old man? You know what I mean? Like, no. So, but because apparently he, you know, some of those characters did want some of that smoke, Death definitely will give it to him.
How many times we got to teach you this lesson, old man?
Come on, man. And so right there, I'm just like, nope, not really feeling that part. That wasn't believable to me. So those are my dings when it comes to what took me out of the movie or what had me thinking about it so much I couldn't even really focus back on certain parts. So that right there took me out of the movie and the part in the beginning. Now, those out of the way. As X said, movie done very well. Chef kiss, great. I was pleasantly surprised. Yes, the thought ran across my mind. Cash grab. Hope not. Don't ruin the franchise. Just let it die. If it, again, pun intended. If that's what it is. But if you're gonna do this and you're gonna bring us into this theater, you better come with it and you better make it make sense. And for me, it absolutely made sense. The bloodline thing with the family, that was totally different for me. I enjoyed that. That wasn't bad. I'm like, man, maybe if they decide to reboot this thing or something or whatever, maybe y'all revisit that again. That was actually pretty cool. And the acting, I just feel like it was on point. Everybody seemed like they showed up. They seemed like they had love for this franchise, and they brought their A game. And so I am just very, very impressed with what I saw. And I hope that if you're going to bring a franchise back to life, yes, the puns keep coming. If you're going to bring a franchise back to life, this is how you do it. No different from Top Gun Maverick. Honor that thing, honor that series, and give it to the fans the right way, and we will rock with you. And absolutely. I think a lot of people are going to rock with this film. You know what I'm saying? Especially the fans. Not just the fans, but the first time goers. They're going to really enjoy a very entertaining movie. So, what I will say, my final score. Because of my dings, I cannot ignore them. I just cannot know. And I'm sorry that I definitely would have given it more if not for those dings. But because of those dings, I have to rest at a 9. Yeah,
which I'm at the end of the day, guys, it's a 9.2. But at the end of the day, it's still a good film.
Oh, yeah.
We're telling y'all it's a good film. We're not down in the film. We're not dousing flames on it. We're not sitting here crapping on it. We're telling y'all that it's a good film. We're just being honest. Hey, it's some stuff in here that just ain't legit. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be practical in the real world or in real time. That's not what happened. That's all. They're just small storytelling things that are flawed with this movie. Doesn't change the fact that it's a good movie. It's a good watch overall that you'll still enjoy.
Yep. So basically, turn your brain off on certain parts, namely the first 10 minutes, and just enjoy the movie. And when you see the dad, just like, that's him. And then enjoy the rest of that movie because, yes, it is an excellent movie. I definitely am hoping to see it again soon. And I'm going to do that after I watch all the movies in succession.
Oh, you'll get a different appreciation for it, brother. I promise you.
Oh, I bet I will, especially now for what I've seen and I know what's coming. So, if you don't mind, my man, can you hit us with the QOTD?
Of course. Y'all know we keep these with y'all every single time. And the one for today reads, follow your soul. It knows the way.
Wow.
Deep stuff.
It is.
Follow your intuition, people.
Yeah. And literally follow your soul, because if death come for you, like this in this movie, your soul is probably all you're gonna have left, because death ain't playing. You feel what I'm saying? He is not having it. All right. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with death. And don't mess with Texas either. So
I love
you
how
already
snuck
know
that in there like that.
You know what it is. Shout it, Come on, man. Represent for the Texans out here, man. Come on, man. All right. You know how we gotta end this thing, man. It is the Hangout mantra. It is what we live by. It is what we die by. It's our final destination. And that is, it's not the quantity of people, it's the quality. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much again for joining us, as you do, giving us your time, your precious time. We appreciate it, and we definitely appreciate the likes. We appreciate the views that you guys are giving us, especially when it comes to that Mother's Day special. Make sure y'all check that out. You know what I mean? We gave a little shout out to the mothers.
Shout out to the moms, man.
That's right. Shout out to my mom for real, because my mom, man, she hadn't watched Akili in the Bee in a while, and she decided, because of the review, let's go back and see what they know what we talking about, since we talking about black mamas and everything like that. Well, my mom has renamed the movie from Akili in the Bee to the Black Mama movie. You know what I mean? Because Angela Bassett is a black mama, and she's doing black mama stuff. So please, if you haven't seen Akili in the Bee in a while, go back and check it out. And then after you do that, go back and check out the review and see Do we know what we're talking about? Should we just stop what we're doing right now? Should we keep our day jobs? It's okay. You can let us know.
You can tell us. Be honest. Be honest.
Be for real. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie,
Craig.
And of course, we always got to take a little time to shout out the best producer in the world, and that is Timmy, the producer.
Timmy,
thank you so much. You are a mother, and we hope that you had a great Mother's Day as well. Shout out to Rusty. Shout out to Zane. You know, y'all got a wonderful mother right here. Thank you, Timmy, for all you do.
Absolutely.
And please make sure y'all join us next time, because we are going on a
we are unfortunately going to accept another mission.
Yes.
I'm one of the guys on that crew that was like, do we have to put ourselves in danger?
Yes.
Says we are going on another mission.
I choose yes.
It's impossible.
You feel me? So y'all join us next time, man, as we review Mission Impossible, the final reckoning. I mean, we went from the final destination to final reckoning. All right. I love what we're doing. It's a lot of finals. Ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us. We love you. And please join us next time on the Hangout. Peace.
Peace.